Welcome back to Sew and Tear. And this is Katrina, and today we're going to turn that lovely pumpkin glop we made last time into pumpkin pie. Super simple recipe. Got it off the internet. Everybody I've ever had try it loves it. If the link's still available, I'll try and find it and put it in the description. So, first off, we have 1 cup sugar. Put it in there. Next is 1½ teaspoons ground cinnamon. This is a big container. Alright, 1½ next up is 1 teaspoon cloves. I just kind of clean this off with my hand because anything cloves has in it, I don't really care if it has cinnamon in it. Alright, 1 teaspoon ground cloves. Oops, that is a chunk. So when I measure spices, I measure a little bit of a heaping. There we go. Not flat. 1 teaspoon ground allspice. That's about what I'm looking for when I talk about mounded. And last spice in is 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. So, ginger is lovely. Alright, so our spices are in. Next, you can put salt in it, but I don't. We need 4 large eggs. Now, for my eggs, I'm going to use 4 of our chicken eggs. These are medium, so I've decided to bump it up to a large by adding 4 quail eggs. So, that's what I do. If it calls for a large egg and I have a medium egg, I just put in quail eggs. So it's winter right now, and Rexy is our only chicken laying right now. She gives us an egg almost every day. Not quite. There's some days she misses. The other 2, one of them is molting, and the other one is just starting to molt. But chickens will stop laying in the winter. As will quail, if you don't put light on them. And I have light on my quail, I do not have light on my chickens. So there's the 4 chicken eggs, and I use this quail egg scissors for the quail eggs. It just cuts off the top because their shells are much harder. Just pour it out. They're a little messy if you actually crack them like you do a chicken egg on the side of a bowl. But this makes it super easy. And if you wanted to use that cup a little later on for something, you can. Alright. So let's go through our recipe. We have sugar, cinnamon, cloves, allspice, ginger, 4 eggs, plus 4 quail eggs. Our temperature just came up to 425, which is what we're starting at. Now we need 3 cups of pumpkin glop. And we made this last time. I have fresh stuff, but I also froze some. 3 cups is approximately a full pie pumpkin. And if you listen, that's why it's called pumpkin glop. Well, I don't think the camera's picking it up. And we have our pies with our pie dishes with the pie dough for the crust already ready to go, so that when this is ready we can just pour it in and start baking. Alright, so pumpkin glop is in. Now we need 1.5 cans of evaporated milk. Shake them first. And I estimate the half. That's about half. Now we mix it up. Now, it doesn't have to be super mixed in, it just needs to, I mean, you're not going to like, you know, whip the eggs or anything. It just needs to be mixed enough that the spices are suspended. Because something will happen is if you let this sit too long after you've mixed it, all the spices and seasonings will sink to the bottom, which makes for a really great pie. One of them, the other one won't have any seasoning. So I'm going to lift this up, and I'm actually going to bring the pie plate over here so I don't have to move the camera. Bear with me. Alright, so we have 2 of these. I'm just going to show you one of them. That's a pie crust. And we're just going to pour this in here. Now, when you make pumpkin pie, it is going to get taller than the line that you put it at. It's going to puff up and then it will fall back down a little bit. So you don't want to fulfill it all the way to the tippy top. But just, you know, almost. So this is the first pie. And I'm going to do the second pie. And you can see how liquidy it is. And that's normal. You know, usually people think of pie crusts or pie fillings as being thick. Because you have that thickener in it. But with this one, you have all those eggs. And those eggs are going to make it nice and thick. So don't worry about that. There we go. We have 2 pies worth. Looks like we have a glob of pumpkin. That's alright. And we're just going to pop this in the oven and bake it. It's 425 degrees for the first 15 minutes. And then you put it down to 350 for 45 to 60 minutes. And in my experience, sometimes it goes a little longer than that, so if you're tight on time, just keep that in mind, that it could go longer. So, I'm going to put these in the oven, and we'll come back when they're done. So our timer just went off, and we're going to test to see if this is ready. So, when you test a pumpkin pie, you're going to stick a butter knife in the middle, and if it comes out clean, it's ready. If it came out clean, that means it's ready. So we're going to take this out. I'm going to have to come back to you guys. So here are our 2 pumpkin pies that are done. Your timing is going to depend on the size of your actual pie tin. If it's shallower, this timing was right on. But if it's smaller and you fill it higher, then it's going to take longer. Enjoy the pumpkin pie. So now where pumpkin pie is done, we need some whipped cream. I like to make my own, and I pour in some whipping cream. I don't measure any of this. But I pour in whipping cream. We're going to lock the bowl, turn it on, and the other ingredients are powdered sugar, which you can modify to your sweetness requirements, and vanilla extract. So I have this turned up all the way, and you can choose the thickness of your whipped cream, which is nice when you make it yourself. I'm going to make it thicker than this, but I wanted to show you that it's how thick it is. I like it a little thicker, and that way also if you're going to store it in the refrigerator for a few days, it will hold up its shape a little better. So this is about the consistency I like it, and you can see it stays on a spoon. It's nice and thick. So we're going to put that on our pumpkin pie once it cools off and have nice pumpkin pie with whipped cream. So here's the finished product. This is pumpkin pie made with homegrown pumpkins, homegrown eggs from chicken and quail, and homemade whipped cream. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this.